Welcome, welcome, welcome. The question today is what's the difference between the true self and the ego, the false self? In the body, the self is split into two self. So there is the baby self called the spirit, and the witness higher self called the soul. And the soul has split itself into duality, and it's in the body in two self. Now, the self that is animating the body is the spirit, and the soul is the witness, the observer watching it. But the soul is waiting for the spirit to come awake because the spirit is asleep behind the mind, and the mind is in ignorance that the self is behind it. The soul is the real self, and the soul is longing to be unified with its spirit as to be one self because it was one self and it split itself into duality so that the spirit can animate the body. And now that the spirit is sleeping and in its unawareness, the mind has taken control over. And so that is the ego self. That is the false self. And it's the know that we have to inquire within the self to wake the real self up so that the real self can take control, and so that you're gonna return the ego back into the mind. We have to give the ego back, and because the mind is a fragment of consciousness. So it's a figment of consciousness, and this is how when you return the ego back, this is how your light starting to shine, and this is how you become illuminated. You have to be able to figure out the ego self from the true self. You have to inquire because the mind is gonna answer to like it's the real self because it doesn't know that it's not the real self. The real self is hiding, obscure behind the mind. So what you have to do, you have to inquire within the self. You have to question the self, where all these thoughts are rising from. Who am I? Who is this I?